This interview of our Today's Campus Innovation Interview Series is brought to you by Six Sigma Management Institute. Visit sixsigmamindpro.com to learn more about MindPro, the online Lean Six Sigma training system developed by the co-creator of Six Sigma, Dr. Michael J. Harry. All right, everybody, and welcome to our first interview in the new year. I hope you all had a great start in 2013. My name is Kirsten Winkler, and as first interviewee in our Today's Campus Innovation series, so to kick off the new year, I invited Sean Conway. He is the co-founder of Notehall, and Sean, I'm very happy that you accepted my invitation.
Yeah, Kirsten, glad to be here. Thank you for the interview request, and I'm excited to be part of your 2013 first interview.
Great. So sort of as a level set that we are all on the same page, and for our audience, Notehall started as a marketplace where students could buy and sell appropriate lecture materials, notes, study guides, and so on. And you and your co-founders, I think you started with Notehall in 2008, when you were still students yourselves. But sort of then the service took off rather rapidly. You found some success, growth in users, and last year, so roughly 1.5 years ago, you got acquired by Chegg. So I think in the education space, quite a big name everybody will be familiar with. But tell us a little bit, or maybe take us through the process a little bit, how everything went and sort of developed.
Realized. Yeah, absolutely. So Notehall was really a huge passion project for me, because when I was a student at the University of Arizona, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I personally couldn't keep up with the words my professor was taking, and so I was like constantly just trying to catch up with the next word that was coming out of her mouth. And really, I was taking poor notes. So, being a part of the disability program, I got actually a note taker, and I found that I wasn't the only one that was suffering from this. It was actually lots of students that needed note takers, lots of students that actually, couldn't take adequate notes or take the full material and actually condense it to a point where they could further read on it, further read on that material before their exam. So pretty much, it was a problem that I saw a lot of my colleagues, having within the class. So we went ahead and started Notehall in 2008 or 2007. Actually launched it in 2008, and like you said, we started at the University of Arizona, and within a few months we had about 25% of the students actively using it. So it took off quite quickly, then launched to another couple universities, started out small and just kept doubling, and then ended up at, about 78 colleges in 2011. So that was really exciting.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. And what was the status quo like? What was the landscape? Was there nothing available, or was it really interesting for you to really go this entrepreneurial path with your co-founders that you quite quickly thought, okay, might be some, business to do there? Or
Absolutely, yeah. So back, I think in 2005, I went ahead and created these index cards that our teacher allowed. They're almost like cheat sheets. And so 8-point font, every little definition that you needed on the smallest piece of paper that allowed you for the test. And so the students bought them up for $5 a piece, and it was an easy way for me to make $50 or so. So combining the whole ADHD, having a note taker, and this concept, it was just made sense. And then I also saw that a lot of students, it wasn't even playing field in the classroom. These 300 student classrooms, you had some students that had, were fraternities and sororities that had test banks that they were getting an unfair advantage. Then you had some students that were slaving away with a job and college, and then just had to go ahead and, had family obligations as well. And they were in the front of the class taking copious notes. And then there's some students that had note takers. So combined with all this, it was just an uneven playing field. So I thought Notehall would be a great way to even the playing field and allow every student to actually have the ability to get supplement notes or study guides if needed. So that's where it all began, and that's why it was really a huge passion project for me at the beginning, and my co-founder Justin as well.
We can say that for that space, you actually shook up things quite a bit, because the world of academia seems to be let me say, they seem to be rather okay for teachers or professors creating and also selling their lesson materials. If we look at like startups like Better Lesson or Teachers Pay Teachers, other platforms like this, whereas in the student space, I would say it brought you a little bit in hot water as well, or some discussions came up whether this is all legal or good, and which universities allow that, or the professors even, and who is against that. So tell me a little bit how this whole discussion happened, because if we look at it from the perspective now in 2012, nobody is really making a big thing out of that anymore. But back then it was quite some heated discussion sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely there were some professors that would didn't see our side of this, and what we were trying to do is just offer supplemental materials for students. They're already in the classroom. They're already getting this material. Why can't we just offer it on a more even playing field, like I mentioned before? So. Yeah, there was definitely there was some of a gray area, but yeah, as you said, it really as technology came, professors started seeing our side and started adopting it really quickly, and now we have a lot of universities on our side. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to help the student learn and how pass their class, and just getting them more information. That's what it's all about. And by creating Notehall, we actually hold the professor accountable as well, which is really important in this day and age. Making sure that they aren't repeating the same lecture from 6 years ago, word for word almost. Economics doesn't change that much, but it's important to keep information relevant. Mm-hmm. Including the things that are in the news and actually showing how it's relevant in Economics 101. And this material can be, related to a lot of things that we're have in this day and age, and that's what makes learning more interesting. So what I'm trying to say is, holding professors accountable is really important. I think the schools have seen that as well.
And and sort of this aspect. Probably depends on the professor. Some are even a little bit averse of this sharing aspect. I think more of them were about making this really a marketplace and then selling stuff there. Right. But would you say since 2011 already this has calmed down, and what's the situation like now? More and more universities adopting this, or sort of how has it played out for you?
It's really great to see the professors jumping on board. We have professors actually posting material themselves in some cases, but the professors are going ahead and jumping on board and encouraging students to even post materials. And there's a lot of, you can see there's dozens of other platforms trying to mimic what we're doing all over the place. So it's really encouraging and validating to our idea that, we were in the right space, and, we're the first ones to jump into the marketplace, buying and selling class notes. So that's really gratifying from this side.
And as often, the first one has to fight a little bit more than the ones that came after you guys. But I mean, in the end, for you, it played out in the sense also that a big company in the education space, Chegg, took notice of you and probably made you an interesting offer. Can you tell us a little bit from both sides, from your side, you and your co-founders, why was it interesting to sell at this point? For Chegg, what did they see in Notehall that they wanted to have and maybe didn't feel they want to build it all themselves and again invest sort of in their own technology?
Right. Just to take it back one step, and you mentioned fighting, and I really just to clear that up, there wasn't much fighting. You know, if the professor wants the materials off of Notehall, we follow the Digital Millennium Copyright Act like any other site. So it's really important for us to build relationships with the professor as well as the student. So anytime they want any of the material out, we have a very easy process. They go through, and we'll take the material off very, very, very quickly. Most times within 24 hours. So just so that, you know, we're not saying, hey, we have your student's material up, we're not going to take it off, we're hijacking it. No, that's not the case whatsoever. We want to have a great relationship just as much with the professor as the student. Additionally, yes, Notehall was very attractive to not only Chegg but other companies out there. We allowed our students, you know, we gave them a tremendous value, allowing them to have access to these materials and could acquire students at a very low cost, and you know, get them engaged, get their classes, and this worked perfectly, you know, with Chegg's model. What they're trying to do is, you know, just get students into just provide all the value they possibly can to these students, you know, make them smarter, save money, and that's exactly what we added to. So, yeah, not only was it attractive to Chegg to buy us, but we saw what Chegg's vision was in their future, and we were like, absolutely want to partner with you guys, because if we don't partner with you, you're going to take us over. So it was a very mutual sell, and I'm so excited to be a part of the Chegg team and watch them grow. And it's going to be really exciting in 2013 to see what they do, as it was in 2012.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we hear a lot of this, or before we heard probably more news about the book, textbook rental space and all of that, but Chegg clearly said that they want to be like in students' minds 365 days a year, so that's probably going to be an interesting piece that Notehall or role Notehall is fulfilling, to be part of this, that students are like constantly aware of Chegg services.
Yeah, right. Between Cram, Sturd, Zinch, you know, Student Fortune, we've integrated most of them. But just watching it and you know, envisioning it from an entrepreneur standpoint and watching where they're going to be the all-in-one resource for students to go in there and you know, get what they need 365 days a year. So I am super excited about it, and it was the perfect sell for Notehall.
And can you tell us a little bit for Notehall's case? You said that I think in 2011, I am not perfectly sure about the numbers because it was a little bit of speculation, but I think you were in some 50 universities. And can you tell us a little bit how many users you had at the time, or how many users the service now attracts?
You know, I've stepped away from the numbers now. I'm more I worked on other aspects of Chegg. So I don't want to quote myself, but yeah, we were definitely in the hundreds of thousands of users back then, and a lot of them were just active users constantly going on and just engaging with the site. So they're adding their courses and, you know, getting engaged, not only the notes, but with one another, which is cool. So, one student in the class who normally would feel like a little awkward about selling their notes just because they don't want other students to know, whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Having the ability to connect them and going ahead and allowing one to make money and other to save hours of time, getting that information assembled, it's a largely gratifying feeling. So I know we were connecting hundreds of thousands of students in tens of thousands of classrooms across the country. So to go, and I know we were hiring over 12,000 note takers at the end of the day. So that's super, super exciting, and paid out more than $1.5 million in
wow.
earning. Yeah, very cool.
And you already referred to 2013, so this year as being a very exciting year. Can you share maybe some of the aspects or projects with us? Is Notehall going to continue standing a little bit also as a not an independent brand, but you keep your branding? Is it going to be more integrated in Chegg? Tell us at least a little bit what you guys are working on, and maybe you personally also what projects you're working on.
Right. Since I don't own the company anymore, I really can't talk on behalf of Chegg, but I know they're working on some really interesting things, and they have been integrating other sites they've bought, like Cramster, which you've seen, and they've grown tremendously from that. So, I think we'll follow the same suit, but it's better to talk to the Chegg people directly so I don't get in trouble.
All right. And Sean, what are you up to? I saw you did a little bit of investing, if I'm not completely mistaken, but maybe do you keep working in online education in a broad sense? Tell us a little bit about your projects for 2013.
Wow. Well, I find the education market, especially higher education market, is extremely interesting, and I think we're about to tip over $1 trillion in debt, and that's truly scary for me. Seeing my employees actually pay a large portion of their wages, or my past employees to pay a large portion of their wages to, paying off their, and a lot of them aren't, a lot of these people in general aren't earning what they thought they were out of college, or not even getting a job. That's scary to me, and that's enough to actually keep pursuing this and, fighting and disrupting education, because that is a terrible statistic, and it truly, truly frightens me. So any way I can get and learn more about education, keep partnering with fellow CEOs and entrepreneurs, that's what I'm going to keep doing. And, I'm waiting for my real passion project to come up again. And whether it's in the education field or in some other, type of the tech sector, I'm looking to get into something else in 2013. And also, of course, watch Chegg, do their thing, because it's really exciting watching them grow and, really follow the vision they set out to, conquer a few years ago.
Awesome. And I am very sure that probably sooner rather than later a new exciting project or idea will come up, and wish you the best of success for that. For people to learn more about, on the one hand, Notehall, or people who want to follow you personally, where should they go?
So if they want to follow me personally, I'm actually starting a blog. I like weird out of anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and start ilikeweird.com and just follow down that path and try to just leave a trail map of where I'm going and what I'm doing. And I'd love to hear people reach out to me if they want to conquer and divide in the education space, or just entrepreneurs in general. So yes, that's the best place to follow me. But thank you for the interview. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time, and was definitely fun learning more how you set this all up, and then your quite significant success. So thanks so much for coming on the program, Sean.
And thank you, Kirsten. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. You guys are it's a fascinating space. So keep doing the interviews. I appreciate it.